Hey, Patsy. I'm glad you're with me today. And I want to first introduce you because we met through Stacy. And I was on Stacy's Facebook Live show or whatever she's got going on in a group. And then she started giving me a bunch of people to talk to, learn about their journeys, and you're one of them. And so I'm glad that we made that connection. I'm glad that we had a tough time having that conversation with the snowstorm and everything, that you had going on or whatever. But we got through it, and I got you here today to be on the podcast. I know you went through a lot of stuff in your life, and I'm excited to see where this conversation takes us because there's so much we can touch on. And I would love for you just to start off like introducing yourself, who you are, what you do, and what you're most passionate about right now.
Oh, hello, pup. Well, I'm Patsy Dullea, and I can't thank you enough for inviting me for this interview and podcast. And our conduit, Stacy Jones.
Mhm.
She is just a remarkable woman, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for her and for our connection. Who am I? What do I do? And why do I do it? Um, I'm 65, soon to be turning 66. I've lived quite an interesting journey in life. There was a time when I wasn't happy with living, and I thought, the best thing for me to do was not to live, and the best thing for everybody else would be for not to live. And those were just oh goodness. Let's see, I've been with a long time ago. We're gonna say 38 years, 34, 38, 39 years ago, I had taken an attempt on my life, and I did have a revolver at my temple, and I don't know, and I can't explain it, but there was some type of force that just moved that hand away. Um, and I wish I could say that really woke me up, but I needed to walk down the path a little bit lower and just get to my bottom. I became a woman in recovery, and I just celebrated 15 years, which is for me, the first year is for me, and the next years are for others to give them hope. I've always had a desire to loving on people. I kind of had that mixed up for a bit, uh, where, Patsy to the rescue, let me put my cape on. And now people pleaser. And, there was a lot of mask wearing, but getting clean and sober and doing therapy and getting to where I'm at today uh, is a really wonderful gift. I've, my whole career has been mainly focused in human services. So I've been a coach for individuals with different abilities. I don't say disability, I different abilities. Because I believe everybody has something that they're able to give back to the community, to themselves, and for their higher divine. So way back when I was a little girl at 5 years old, I was severely burned. That was back in 1965, second and third degree burns, 45% of my body, and the rest of my body, other than the face, the back of my hands, well, my hands, the back of my hands, feet, whatever skin they could use, they utilized for skin grafting. Uh, so that was my first big, huge trauma in life, and my parents just allowed me to live however I choose, and if it hurt, then I was gonna stop. I was very active recreationally, musically, drama, drama. Yeah, I was good at being, playing playing and being in plays and playing different characters. I was a fantastic cheerleader and a all-American field hockey player when I was a junior at high school. Uh, so I feel I was very well-rounded, and, I loved I love singing and playing my saxophone. So the saxophone went astray, and I had a goal to start that up in 2019, and that's when I'm doing a big, huge jump. So 2019, we'll come back to. In between there, I grew up in a family where my father eh, and my mother both worked in factories, and my father's drinking became an issue, and he did drink, throughout our lives, so there was a lot of chaos that was going on. I had 4 older brothers. We grew up in the '60s and the '70s, so things sometimes get out of hand, chaotic, and then I have been having the wonderful experience of remembering all the good stuff, all the fun stuff that happened. Sometimes the shadows of my life had really taken over, and so I diligently work on let's go back into memory and what's the fun stuff I did. Um, so there was some dark sides. Pre-menstrual, I was sexually abused by multiple individuals, and that was, I would say, beyond a doubt, my biggest trauma that I had to release and let go of. It wasn't the burns. It was the internal scar. I was like, why me? What, picking out the blame, the shame, and all that power and control, giving away my power, because I just didn't know. And when I had a gallbladder surgery, Phil Donahue was on TV and out he talked about stuff, and I'm like, oh wow, I should probably discuss this with my parents. I didn't deal with it very well. I handle it in rage, um, thinking that they really didn't do anything about it. But then once I did all my inner work, I'm like, oh wow, dad quit drinking that same year. He did do something. So he did do something not only for himself, but for the family and for his future legacy, his grandchildren. And so long story short, all through that time I was married to my high school sweetheart. We went to different high schools, but he was my sweetheart, and we lived together. And I wanted to have a child. And my religious upbringing is like you don't get pregnant unless you get married. And at that point in my life, I wasn't going to disappoint my parents, nor was I going to disappoint his parents. I still lived in that I need to do this because this is what I was brought up on. This is the morals, this is the values, and all of that. Within 3 years, we were divorced due to physical abuse, and alcohol and drugs were part of that. And I just did not want to raise my son up in that. However, I had no idea that I had an issue, and I did. And that's a whole, that's a part of me, but it's not the all of me. And throughout all that, I've had success. I've had really great positions. I was able to work, functioning. They say functioning alcoholic. I was able to work, and I worked with people with different abilities. And we started with Laconia State School, and all the parents did a lawsuit against New Hampshire, and so we started integrating into the community, and I was able to rise pretty high within, another I don't know whether name businesses, but I worked for Easter Seals in New Hampshire, and I was able to, have quite a wonderful position. Little hot here, little anxiety going on, so I'm gonna own that and turn the fan on for a minute. I won't use the excuse that it's a hot flash happening. This is anxiety, folks. Um, so yeah, what a wonderful gift it was not only to help individuals with different disabilities, but educate those in the community that were pretty ignorant on what individuals that have differences can do. And it was, a lot of wonderful, stuff that happened there, and I did that up until 2001. And then I thought I wanted to be closer to my son. I want to be able to get him involved in extracurricular activities. And I chose to take a huge downgrade and stay close to home. And it was probably best that I did that. Uh, and then I got the help that I did. And here I am. I'm a coach. I like to more say that I'm a guide, presence guide based, present based guide, however you want to say it. I walk beside people. I don't think that I'm any better than anybody. I have a lot of different lived experiences and a lot of gifts that were given to me. And I like to be able to help another that just feels down and out and they're not getting anywhere. I'm doing nothing. And maybe a person that just like doubts why they're even here on earth, or what is my purpose, I'm not good enough, the self-doubt, maybe victim stance talking,
Mhm.
or they gotta have a goal and they just don't know how to get there. And
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to help many people prior to, so my husband's been supporting me with all of this, learning to be a coach, and I've had clients. I do a stipend, so if somebody doesn't make much money, that's okay. Donate something. Donate something because you're worth something. So,
Mhm.
and I can remember when I didn't think I was worth $20 an hour. um, and I've had to work on learning how to validate myself.
Yeah.
And that's a really important gift that others had given me, taught me. So those are part of those lessons and blessings. So pretty much, in a nutshell, other than telling you about my group, that's Patsy.
Yeah.
The, sh-
That's
the
that's a
short and
lot.
long of it.
That's a lot. So I mean, first
Well,
I
I
want
am
to
66. I'm soon to be
yeah. Yeah, that's
66.
all right. I do want to unpack some things here. So
Sure.
uh
Back and
yeah.
unpack. It's all good.
Yeah. I'm curious. You mentioned the hardest time was because of sexual abuse.
Hmm.
What was it that led you to having suicide thoughts out of everything you had? I don't know what
Oh,
time when it
goodness.
came.
Well, at that time, I was drinking and drugging, cocaine and speed, thinking that this chick needed something to stimulate. And there was so much going on in my world, and I was getting ready to marry my first husband, and my truck got repoed because
Mm,
I forgot to send the money order. Back then, it was a money order. I forgot to send the payment in my truck. And so the truck was repoed. I'm all by myself, and I'm like, uh, there's no sense of me being here on this earth. And that one thing. Um, I kinda all the other stuff, I just felt unworthy, and I was real low, um, drugs do things to your brain, and alcohol does stuff to your brain, and it does stuff to your body, and I just, I there's a saying, and I'll clean it up, but I felt lower than whale dung, that here I am getting married tomorrow, and my truck gets repoed.
mhm,
And I thought that was the end of the world. And I'm grateful that whatever I'll say my guardian angels. I don't, some people want to believe it. That's up to them. But something definitely pulled my arm away, and something definitely pulled my trigger finger for the bullets to go out into the woods. So, but it was something that basic. Um, and I truly believe that that was probably one of the things that I said I would never do again. And then I learned never to say never.
never to do what? Try to commit
Never
suicide?
attempt suicide
Okay.
again.
Alright.
And then I learned never to say never.
Yeah. Yeah, So that's surprising. So it was just that one moment of just the car getting repoed. There was nothing in the past that kinda stacked on top of that.
Well, I
So
mean, I had all those past subconscious things, but they weren't there. My world was, "Woohoo, I'm having a good time. I'm doing everything that I wanna do. I've got a job. I'm marrying my sweetheart. We're gonna build on our property." I mean, and then bam, the truck is repoed and,
mm,
well, how are we gonna go on the honeymoon? I'm the only one with a license, and what are we gonna do? And, it's like, woe is me. I was young, well, not too young. Let's see, I was 27. I
mhm.
chose to get married late in life, but I was emotionally very, very young, very immature. And status quo. You don't have a car, it got repoed. What do other people think of me? All of that stuff. Make sure you're wearing clean underwear in case you're in an accident. All these things I grew up with. It's like always worry about what other people thought of me. Um, and yeah, that was just crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
what led you to thinking what other people always thought of you? What why was that so important to you? Do you know why?
you know, um, part of growing up, when I got burned, um, I played with matches. My sister, my 3-year-old sister, and myself play with matches. My pajamas caught on fire.
Mm,
I took responsibility for everybody in my family making choices that weren't to their benefit. They all dealt with that trauma in their own way, but I felt I was the responsible one. And growing up, it's what others think of you. Um, it was a taught It was something that was taught, brought down from family member to family member to family member. It's like, you don't talk about what's inside the house. You go out and I learned I was a performer. I was a damn good performer. I became all American field hockey player as a junior. I wasn't attempting to do that. It happened. It was gifted to me for what I was able to do. So I just think also that it has to do with skewed thinking. My comprehension on things were really skewed. So my mother could deliver a message, but it just wasn't computing the way. Uh, but back in '65, it's like us girls, we weren't even allowed to wear pants. You had to wear a dress to school. You had to act this way, do things this way. It was just one of those taught traditions, and just a family belief or and there my mother and father were brought up during the recession, 1930. They were born. Each of them were born. So um, I don't know. It's like dress me up, put me out there. There we are. So it's just one of those things that I carried, and what I try not to do is put the blame and shame on the knowing that my parents had. They only knew what they knew. I only know what I know, and in order for me to learn different, I needed to learn different, and not to do blaming and shaming. It is what it is. It was what it was, and I can identify with people, that have that feeling. Now it's been a long time. Um, I'd say 38 years is a pretty long time. So I've been successful at not doing something or thinking that way, but I was slowly killing myself, not caring about getting on a motorcycle without a helmet. Driving fast speeds, drinking, driving, doing drugs. You know, there was a lot of grace and mercy given to me until I was ready to put down the alcohol. Uh, but it was really put down beating up on myself, put down blaming and shaming myself for being a little girl who was curious and played with matches and her clothes that didn't have flame retardant back then caught on fire. Um, and that I did not have to blame and shame myself. I could learn to forgive myself. And forgiveness is a huge part of the program that I do for Elevate You too. It 12 emotional pillars that I needed to become who I am today.
Mm.
And
And how do you forgive yourself?
how did I
And
forgive
or
myself?
how did you, or how would somebody?
So I got on my hands and knees and I've
Mm,
asked God to forgive me for misunderstanding the role of a daughter, of a wife, of a friend, of a mother. And I asked God for forgiveness. And then I'm like, oh, it's what I knew. So I would start asking other people. I would listen to their story or I would see what they were doing. And I'm like, how did you get here? What did you do for yourself? So it was a lot of self seeking therapeutic work. And then my group program that helps me with my staying clean and sober is also group connection is huge. And being vulnerable enough to just say, yeah, I thought like that. And I had to forgive myself for not knowing what I didn't know, and say, "Oh, I might be reacting in a way that's not healthy for myself nor healthy for anybody else." So ask, keep asking, and then tweak. I can't say tweak enough. It's like ask somebody how they went and did it, and say, "Well, how can I do that?" And I think one of the biggest things was when I got my concussion in 2019 and I took a course with a coach. I thought it was really brutal. um and I did it. I did as far as I chose to go with it, and I had that opportunity of being open and learning about NLP and learning about how to stop and pause. For the longest time, I would just like, oh, I don't want to act like this. Was the time I used to wrap myself up in a blanket like a straight coat to just like going, I am not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And just God, take me, keep me safe. And I did really pick up a lot of my religious beliefs with God, Jesus, and the Trinity and the Holy Spirit. And then to figure out how to have a relationship with God versus being afraid of God. And I already thought I was going to hell, right? Until I did the work, until I talked with therapists, and until I met with a priest and talked about everything. And, you know, then it was like a huge 6-week confession, and getting his understanding and, you know, very gullible. I was very gullible, very naive. Um, Which led me into, certain situations that were not of my best interest. And then why did I hold on to for some reason, I just didn't wanna disappoint people because I felt that I disappointed enough, so I had to really do a lot of written work, therapeutic work, and practice new ways of living, and I still pick up new ways of living because I'm evolving. I'm not staying stagnant. So, forgiveness, I have a book that I have a book that helped me out a lot, and it was, Daily Affirmations and Moving On, Forgiving and Moving On. And I wouldn't look at the date, I'd just open up the book, and lo and behold, that's what I needed to hear. And I'm like, "Oh, well, I think I can apply this. No, I know I can apply this. Yes, you can apply this." And then started to learn to validate myself. And then forgiveness just kinda drifted away like the dirt in the wind, you know? It just
Mhm.
kinda, wow, you're not carrying that anymore. That's a really beautiful feeling.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I don't know where your faith journey was through your whole life, and but to forgive, do you have to have faith?
Do you so I have a pillow that says faith in self. Do I
Mhm.
have to have a faith in a higher power? Um, I my belief is that I needed a faith in a higher power
Mhm.
in order to get to where I am today because I was lower than whaledom. So how was I going to learn to validate myself? And I saw at my darkest hours, and some of my darkest hours wasn't when I picked up that pistol. My darkest hours is walking through the emotional f- feelings of everything, and not 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 picking up blame, not picking up shaming myself for allowing these type of things to happen in my life. Yes, there was choice, but when you're I'm an adult now, right? These things happened to me when I was adolescent, young child, adolescent, teenage years. And, you know, I found that I put myself in situations that weren't good for me. And how to validate myself, to learn how to humbly walk um, without like blowing my horn. Like I never told anybody for the longest time that I was outside of my school people that I am an All-American field hockey player and my name's in a book somewhere. I never would, but I was taught that, and this is something that really hit me because this was when I was really doing a lot of history with God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit, so the Trinity. And I was taught that if all I did was look at the not so good things that I did in life, that was more or less slapping God across the face. And I'm like, whoa, I was brought up to believe there is a God. I was. I have many people that believe totally different and they don't believe in a God or so with me I said, "Well, what is it what really connects? What really connects me to God? What really connects me to Jesus? What connects me to Buddha? What connects me to any of the spiritual individuals?" It was the love. It was the love journey. And I said, "Well, Jesus is the one that I've learned the most about. So why don't I just try to walk unconditional love?" And why don't I start with me?
Mm,
Why don't I learn to unconditionally love myself? And when I started walking that journey, that's when forgiveness went away. So to have faith in my ability and to have faith that I didn't make all of this that we're in, something made all of this beauty around me. The mountains, the trees, the river, the flower, the bees, something made all of this beautifulness, and it certainly wasn't me. So that is a higher power that I felt that I could trust. You built all this? Okay, I can trust you. What got confliction for me was the man rule. The man rule interference of such a beautiful spiritual journey. So I just chose I don't wanna minimize that with just I am constantly relearning what to say. Uh, I learned that everybody's right where they need to be, and I don't have to follow their belief. I need to follow what makes my gut and my soul feel really comfortable. I need to I need to have that spiritual love connection that puts me at peace with whatever's going on in the world. And we just celebrated my father's 19th anniversary of his passing. And I had the opportunity to see how much I grew. And I had that opportunity to say, thank you, God, universe, energy. It doesn't matter. Thank you, thank you, thank you for getting me here where I'm at, where I could feel mixed emotions, but not be so down that I couldn't live in the memory of the love that was shared and the love that was gifted by my father. So it's weird because at the same time my car broke down, $1,100 later, the car's fixed. The trip to Connecticut was canceled for my massage. My trip to North Carolina to pick up my mother is canceled because my surgery that was supposed to be this Friday, is
Mm.
postponed until surgery in April. So I had all of those things come at me all at once, and I was at peace. Yet knowing I was really feeling those subconscious, yeah, but you should be feeling this way. This is what's going on. You should be crying and you should. And I chose that shoulding on myself and shoulding on others is not something I want to entertain because I feel like shoulding is crapping on yourself. And I don't need to crap on. I lived crap. I don't need that anymore. So it's a choice of whatever you want to believe. If you want to believe you're the higher power, go for it. I couldn't. I mean, I can't live in I know it all because I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so much freeing to give away your anxiety and depression and anything else to something so much greater to just I don't it's hard to explain how it feels. Like I hear you, right? And I get it. So when you're dealing with some hard times and you just go, take it all, you know,
Yeah.
take it all away from me and I'll see what you provide and we'll go through it. Right. And I know it's gonna get better on the other end. So uh
And doesn't it?
to
It
get better, yeah.
and
It's
when you
just
didn't believe, you didn't even see the gratitudes in front of you or the
right,
gratitudes right at your feet. It's like
right.
right now, it's like, what am I doing?
Yeah, be grateful for what you have at the moment because you didn't have it before.
Yeah. Or the awareness wasn't there. It's like, I'm grateful for awareness.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I like that.
You know?
Yes.
And it's like I do this little thing, in the morning on my regular Facebook page where it's like, "Good gratitude morning." I almost feel like the Robin Williams, "Good morning, America," or what Vietnam or whatever it was that he did. But I was like, I live in gratitude, and why don't I share and see if other people can see that
Mhm.
the simplistic things that are in our lives are so beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm like and there's many people in this world that don't have what we have here in America.
you're
And
absolutely right. Hey,
and there's a lot of that
even
I was
what
gonna
you
say,
and I
even
have.
in
Yeah,
America.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people that would love to be where we are at, even though we think we have hard times, right?
Right.
Um, Patsy, you shared so much. We didn't dive into everything like at a deep level, right? And that's okay because you shared a little bit about you getting burned, about your suicide attempt, about being sexually abused, and then you touched
Domestic
on
violence.
yeah, right, and yeah, and so, would you mind just sharing, how people can connect with you, learn more about you, and how you can support them? And then also, would you mind just tapping into a little bit about the book that you have coming up?
Oh, yeah, okay. Let's let that gut settle a little bit and pause. The first thing, so the concussion, I should have wrote down what you were asked. So first question is which one?
How can people connect with you and how you can
Yeah,
support them?
so if you wanna connect with me, my name is Patsy Dullea, Dullea. I have a Facebook page, and then I have Elevate You Too. It's a private group off from is and you can send me a message in Messenger, and I can when I give your permission, we'll put up, whatever to, promote your podcast, and I can put my link in the comment sections there for individuals. Uh, these it's a daily I do daily reflections every morning, um, in regards to whatever pillar I choose to be working on, and I haven't told the title yet,
That's
of
fine.
my book, and I'm not gonna choose to tell you the title of my book, but the book is about Elevate You Too, and it's about how I was able to take these emotional pillars that I needed to grow up. I need to I need to go for immature to more mature. No, I'm not gonna say I'm more mature than you or that, but these are like self-love, self-compassion, self-empathy, the 12 pillars. I get to share with you every day on that. In the book, there's reflection of me and how others participated in my life. I do the best to do no harm to individuals. I don't name them. I don't title them. It's just who I was and some of the things that I did. And after every chapter, there's 3 practices that people can pick up and try and implement into their lives. I do I do Zoom. I also have a partner that I just started doing, partner coaching, and I had a client that had been with me for 2 years, and I just knew that she, would excel with some of his benefits, some of his tools and his teachings, and knowing that I'm not the only one in this world that can help people, but if you can connect to any part of any of the trauma stuff that happened or occurred to me in my life, um, I'm here to help you from build your foundation from the ground up. And these pillars hold me strong. I believe my body is a mansion that God has instilled his purpose within me. That is my belief. You don't even have to believe in a God in order for me to help you with goals. Um, so that's pretty much that. Um, yeah, I'm gonna keep the title
That's
to
yeah,
myself.
I wanted you to share about it, so, like, as
Yeah.
it comes up and people can pre-order, this is hyping them up, right?
Yeah,
So, I'm
yeah.
excited for you. This is something new, and a lot of people kinda hesitate. They get to a point where they just stop, but you're moving forward, and I know you probably don't have a date or anything set, but
Not yet,
but
soon.
yep, so here it is, you get the first, feel for what it is coming, so if you're listening or watching this, make sure you reach out to Patsy so you know what the title is gonna be when it comes out, when it's gonna come out, so you can be prepared to, use her pillars so that you
Yeah,
can move
use
forward.
me.
Yeah.
Use me.
Right, exactly. So I ask the same question I ask every guest I have on here, and what are 3 key things you've learned and used along your journey?
Oh, 3 key things.
Mhm.
Hmm. 3 key things. Now I'm on the spot. Well, the biggest thing is learning how to love myself because I thought I could really love others without that, and that really wasn't it. Uh, Forgiving myself and not taking myself so seriously. I like to play and I like to smile, and it's a good feeling to be here. Enjoy tears, being vulnerable. It's okay. There's somebody always here to hold you up, hold your hand, walk beside you, and help you learn how to love yourself, forgive yourself, and not take yourself so damn seriously.
Alright, I agree. That's awesome. So if I'm right, you wrapped all 3 up in there, right?
I did.
Yeah, I heard them all. Okay. I think that's great. I think we have a hard time learning to accept who we are as ourselves. because we get wrapped up in this world of society, everybody around us kind of putting us into a mold, and this is who you are, this is how you're supposed to be. And that's not the case. So for me, I had some life-changing events that got me to where I am today. And definitely for you, you shared some life-changing events that got you to where you are today. And I think people need to know that it's okay to be you. And right people will be attracted to you. So
Yeah.
whoever's watching this, listening to this, I hope that they can see that they can go ahead and just be themselves and life will be so much better. Even they might have complications as far as work or relationships still, but if you are yourself, you're going to feel so much better, right? I mean, it's stressful, I know you said you're people pleasing, and I'm sure I was there too. I would say I was doing the same thing, and it's stressful when you have to just, yes, okay, go do, follow along with the game, right? Go above and beyond for somebody that doesn't even appreciate it. So I can only just say that once you release yourself and you kind of put that yourself in that position, like I'm not taking this anymore. I'm going to be who I am. And if that person, those people, those friends don't like it for who I am, then you'll find the other friends. You'll find the
Yeah,
other
yes.
yeah.
And
So
you can love people from a distance.
yeah, absolutely.
It
Yeah.
you know, love
Yeah. You have
love
to separate
love never
completely, right?
changes.
Yeah.
And I
And you have
talked
to
about my
separate
father.
completely.
Grief is another part of
Hmm.
love. So, I wanna thank you, John,
Yeah.
for, inviting me and connecting me with you, and I wish you the best on your book. And can I ask you a question?
Sure. Absolutely.
What's the title of your book, John?
It's life's checkmark, inspiring journeys beyond life's expected path. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
so people are coming in here from the podcast, and they're writing a chapter different from what was mentioned on the podcast about their journey. So it's gonna link the podcast with the chapter.
oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And how long has that been happening for you?
You mean putting it together?
Yeah.
So we started putting this together, I think, since September of last year, and this will be
Nice.
published May, June of this year. The virtual book launch, we're looking at early June. So
Nice.
that's what we're doing. Everybody's invited. Zoom, uh, it could be Facebook, whatever. Everybody can watch, right? And I'm excited to get it out there. And the whole idea, just like my podcast, Patsy, is hopefully reaches that one person that needs to hear or watch it or now read it, so they know they're
Yeah.
not alone.
Yeah, you really, really, you're not alone. And that's a real that's another big that's another big one that could be talked about
Hmm.
on a different day, at a different time.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming here, Patsy. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
And,
John.
we'll have to jump into one of these topics sometime a little bit deeper.
Yeah, eventually I'll have a group where we just jump on and we talk about a pillar and
Mhm.
individuals can just put their take to it. Or not. Just like,
Yeah.
"I don't believe in it." Well, fine, tell me
Yeah.
why.
Right, exactly, that
It
sounds
worked
good.
for me. It's
Yeah.
okay if it doesn't work for you. But I'm pretty sure there's something in my book that's gonna be, help will help another too. And that's what it's all about. We need
Yeah.
more positive energy, more love energy. And I thought the woo woo, it's like we really need to help people step out of fear and, look at what they can do. What is their purpose? Yep,
Mhm.
you gotta work, you've gotta bring home money. Not all of us are, you know, have loads and loads of money, but our wealth does not have to be monetary.
Mhm.
And I think that's an important message. Now, would I like, financial wealth? Yeah, but I'm really happy with my soul and my heart. It's I'm a this vessel is $1,000,000 vessel.
Yeah.
And, it's important to know and to accept yourself for who you are, and that's that authenticity that we talk about, John.
Mhm.
That gets thrown around a lot. It's like, "What's
It does.
authenticity?"
It
Right?
does, yeah. Yeah,
It's pretty
this is gr
cool stuff.
I know, it is cool stuff. I totally agree. Well, thank you again, Patsy, and, yeah, I can't wait to push this out so everybody can watch and listen to this.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.